Yes, that's on. Okay, not bad. Getting the hang of it. Nope, in my laptop it is different. I think it's on the top left, not on the top right. Yeah. I'll change it. No problem. Let it be on in memory of the Vedic Wisdom Festival. Nice. Okay. All right. So shall we start?
Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami.
Yes, Swami.
Let's start. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Muktimam Madacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay. Any questions, clarifications before I go ahead? Or is it all clear?
You can go ahead, Swamiji.
Okay. Which was the verse we are doing?
Swamiji, 26 we have to start.
Of chapter 5, right?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. Always good to check up with the students. Okay. We are seeing Labante Bharma Nirvanam, all that we saw of how the one who knows the truth okay. So he had said a few things. Okay. The one who has got that self-knowledge and finds that fulfillment in himself, that person is free from the whole thing. Going further, the same idea is being continued. Labante Brahma Nirvanam Shayaha Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaidaha Yatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Is calling all the people who know the truth as Rishayaha. Why Rishayaha? Rishanti Atanti Jnanati. The meaning of Rishanti is to know. Okay? Therefore, really speaking, the word Rishi is limited to the original features of this knowledge. Even though it's limited to them, it's here Krishna is applying it to anyone who knows the truth. Anyone who knows the truth. Right? Therefore, Rishanti. And who are they? Labante Brahma Nirvanam. The Nirvanam that is known as Brahman. Meaning Brahma Jnana Vidyartha. Being one with Brahman. What do you have to do to be one with Brahman? You have to know Brahman. That's all. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman is Brahman. He doesn't become Brahman, okay? The knower of Brahman is Brahman. Because that happens to be your nature. Whether you like it or not, Brahman is your nature. And there is no reason why not to like it. Because you are going to find that fulfillment. There is no reason that you don't have to like it. Therefore, Brahma Nirvanam Richati. Again, okay. Who are there? Rishayaha Kshina Kalmashaha. Whose Kalmashas are gone. Now, what is Kalmasha? Kalmasha can be your Raga Dvesha, for example. All your raga dveshas are called kalmashas. And the way to remove raga dveshas is only by karma yoga. There's no other way. How else can you remove raga dveshas? Some of the raga dveshas can be handled by what you call vichara. Some of the raga dveshas can be handled by vichara, meaning analysis, by thinking, understanding that this is not meant for you, or this much of dislike is not healthy. Some of it can be. But when the raga dvesha is strong, certain amount of working to fulfill it through karma yoga buddhi becomes necessary. Okay? That is one part of it. This is called mala raga dveshas. There is another issue that is called as antakarna naishchalya. To be able to have a steady mind. Usually our minds are not steady. If you notice anything that you're doing, okay, anything that you're doing, you will be not always focused on it. You will not be always focused on it. Your mind will go here and there. Your mind will necessarily go here and there. And then it will not be steady, it will not remain in one place. And when that happens, what is the problem? The problem is that you will not gain the knowledge, because at the right time your mind will go elsewhere. The teacher is unfolding the truth, okay? And naturally, a lot of things are being said. And all of us have some trigger words. So when you hear that word, automatically the mind goes somewhere else. As part of that teaching, supposing I say a statement like, okay, we all have a lot of false identities. And then I'm going to unfold. But that guy's mind has gone. Identities. What is the question of identity? I have to find my own identity. I don't want to be known as somebody's wife or mother or something like that. What is my own identity? I am talking about dropping all identities and knowing the truth. But this person's mind has gone on a track of finding your own identity. In other words, why the mind cannot remain where it's supposed to remain with the teaching. All right, you got insights. Then you need to do some meditation to own it up. What meditation? The meditation becomes like what Kabir said, you know. Mala to karme fire, jeeb fire mukh mahi. Manava to chahod se fire, yeh to sumiran nahi. Okay, it's not the modern Hindi we are used to. Mala to karme fire. The mala is going on and nicely. Jeeb fire mukh mahi. Silently or chanting also. Manava to chahod se fire. The mind is gone in all the four directions. Yeh to sumaran nahi. This is not contemplating on the Lord. This become mechanical. So the problem of lack of antakarna naishalyam, the problem of the mechanical mind, all that has to be taken care of. The problem of the mechanical mind is taken care of through meditation, etc., which he will talk about in the next chapter. The 6th chapter is all about meditation. And also by living an alert life. An alert life. Why? We lead mechanical lives. That's why you go out of the door and then you suddenly remember, "Arey, mask nahi diya." Then you open the door again, get inside, wear the mask. Then you gone by the lift, you have gone down. Did I close the door properly? I'm not sure. Should I go back and check? No, I think I closed it. Anyway, it automatically closes. No? Doubt. Why? Because the mind was not where it was meant to be. When you're closing the door, let the mind be awareful. Let the mind be awareful. I'm not saying you have to think and deliberate about every little thing. No. Certain things are routine. Let routine things be routine. You don't have to rethink about everything in life. No. Routine things are meant to be routine. I don't know. This class may not have been open to that workshop. I had done 2 workshops based on the British author, 6 thinking hats and 6 action shoes. Very nice, 2 nice books. It'll be interesting for you all to read them. So certain things are routine. So let routine things be routine. But even if it's a routine thing, be aware. That's how you break mechanical patterns. You may require some external help because if the pattern is too ingrained because certain issues, certain childhood problems, etc., some patterns may be too ingrained. Therefore, if you take some help for that, it's perfectly fine. It's part of the game. Part of the game. Okay. So this way of dealing with the whole thing, of that mechanical mind, etc., until you are fine with the whole thing. Okay. Therefore, Kshina Kalmasha. All this is part of Kalmasha. Okay. Chinnadvaida. Chinnadvaida. All whose doubts are gone. How do you knock off your doubts? By learning to argue for and against Vedanta. It's important. Of course, the easiest way is go and ask the teacher. What the teacher meant there anyway? What is he meant for? Go, pakado. Krishna has given you full permission. Pariprashnena sevaya. Do seva of the teacher by asking a lot of questions. That is true. But it's also important that you learn to question your understanding and handle it. That's also very, very important. Because if that is not done, your sense of independent thinking will go off. Okay? Yes, that independent thinking will not be there. And it's important to have that independent thinking. So you learn to question and answer yourself. To learn to debate in Vedanta with your own mind. Chinnadvaida. Yatatmanaha. The one who's willing to do whatever it takes. Yatatmanaha. Adequate, appropriate effort. This may be different from different people. Some people may have to handle something psychologically. Someone may have to handle something emotionally. Someone may have to handle more in terms of doubts. Someone may have to handle more in terms of mechanical behavior. So each person has to handle different things, and that's okay. Each person may have to handle things differently, and that's fine. But you're willing to do what it takes. Yatatmana. And Sarva Bhuta Hiterata. You are reveling in the well-beings of all beings. In the well-being of all beings, all living organisms, including animals and trees and things like that. Okay. Sarvabhuta hite rataha. Swamiji, then is it important that I become a vegetarian for learning Vedanta? It's not a must. It's not a must. Because remember one thing, Vedanta is not a matter of decision. The idea is you have the value of ahimsa. So in the beginning, it's important to see that you have the value of ahimsa with respect to human beings. First, with respect to human beings. Then you become sensitive enough to extend that. It's an extension. Minimum is human beings. Okay? Minimum is human beings. If you have that, you have the minimum requirement. That deliberately, as far as possible, you will not hurt another human being. You will care for people. Everyone you may not be able to help. You're a limited human being. So how much can you help everyone? Limited manner. Even Bill Gates, he can also help only in a limited manner. He cannot help in an unlimited manner. Rich as he is, he'll be limited. As long as he doesn't support NGOs that are into conversion, etc., it's fine. Limited manner, let him help. All of us also, yatha shakti. Okay, fine. That much. Then vegetarianism came as an extension of ahimsa towards animal life. It's an extension. If you feel good about it, please do. I am talking about vegetarianism. I am not talking about being vegan. Vegan is a fad that is unhealthy for human beings. Okay? Remember this very clearly. Everyone who becomes a vegan suffers from B complex deficiencies. Now, if you have a system of eating which cannot give you everything that your body requires, that system is flawed. Vegetarian can get everything from their diet. If they add dairy products into it, milk, paneer, etc., curds, no problems. Therefore, in terms of your diet, either go by modern medicine, what the modern medicine says, or go by Ayurveda. That's why in the Vedic Wisdom Festival, we got an Ayurveda Acharya to speak. Because all said and done, that has built a culture and a civilization for the last 10,000 years anyway. Before 200 years, we didn't have any system of medicine other than Ayurveda. So it has worked for 10,000 years. It built a civilization. Now doctors are agitating against Ayurvedic doctors doing surgery. They may have a point there, okay? That modern Ayurvedic doctors may not be trained in surgery. That we have to examine. Are they trained in surgery or not? It has to be examined. I don't know for sure. I have asked a few of my friends who are passed out from Ayurvedic to give me an update on this. So when I get that, I will get back to you all on that. But you should remember one thing. One of the first surgeries done was in India. Sushrusha mentions the whole thing. In fact, I was speaking to some of my friends when they were doing their master's in surgery, their doctorate in surgery. That Swamiji, the tools that Sushrusha has mentioned are so identical to the tools that we are using today. Because there are drawings available of those tools, the equipment, and they are so similar to what we are using. So, just because they are Ayurvedic doctors, you can't do surgery is not true. Unless in modern Ayurvedic preaching, they have not been trained for surgery. Then definitely I would say don't do. I don't want to, someone who doesn't know surgery to cut up my body. I have a better understanding of body. If you want to cut anyone, tell me. Rather than someone untrained in surgery, I better do it myself. So, I digress from the question of Ayurveda. Okay. So, if you are talking about diet, follow one of these: modern medicine or Ayurveda. I am not fanatical to say only Ayurveda will work. No, I am not. Okay. I'm broad enough. Okay. Liberal enough to say both can work. Only thing is, modern medicine is a work in progress, and there are too many pharmaceutical interests coming into the picture. Like they went on saying coconut oil is bad, ghee is bad, and then now they are coming back and saying no, coconut oil is healthy, ghee is even more healthy. So these type of things will happen because modern interests are guided by commercial interests. Commercial interests influence a lot of modern research, etc. I have seen this as a member of the ethical committee in some of the hospitals, that how we have to be very alert to see that those influences were not there. Influences are not there. And it is genuine research that happens. But that's the game today. If we can crib about it, we need not complain about it. We should learn to handle it. Therefore, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, one who has got the well-being of all living beings. Why limited to animal life? Extend it to plant life. Swamiji, then how will I live? I'm not talking about not eating plants, okay? Plant life is food. Plant life is food. But environment. You know, before we cut a tree, before there are mantras by which we take the permission of the forest, we take the permission of the tree before we cut it, with the promise that for every tree cut, we will plant 10. So at least half of them will survive. At least 2, 3 will survive out of the 10. Okay? So we do that. So Sarva Bhuti their environmental consciousness also can come into it. You're such a type of being, but not fanatical about anything. This is very important. Okay. This is very important. You're not fanatic about anything. Neither vegetarianism nor your environmental beliefs, because nobody has a last word in all this. Nobody has a last word. Keeping that in mind, we function. Okay. But we care for beings. For people, and in keeping with that, we function. Okay. Such people, he says, will know the truth, will definitely know the truth. Okay. Okay, then another verse for the same idea. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhitaha brahma nirvanam vardate viditatmanam. Kama krodha viyuktanam. Kama krodha viyuktanam. The one who is free from kama and from kama and krodha. Okay? The one who is free from that. Meaning the one who has handled that. Handled Kama Krodhas. One who has handled all Kama and Krodha. And now don't ask me how to handle Kama and Krodha. That is one of the first thing I did with all of you in terms of handling your emotions. Go back and refer to that. And Swamini did that at the Vedic Wisdom Festival also. Swamini Brahma Prajnananda had done that. Okay, handling emotions. Refer back to that. Okay. Those who missed it, when we put it up on the YouTube, that time we can get it. From Kama and Krodha. And he says, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yetinam. Yetinam meaning Sannyasinam. Now he's paying a special attention here. Yatinam. Yati literally means Yatna Shilavan. One who is willing to put in adequate, appropriate efforts to know the truth. And since a sannyasi life is nothing but pursuit of the truth, if it is Vividisha sannyasa to know the truth, a lifestyle to know. What do you call? So my net connection is giving some trouble. Sometimes it does that in the evening. Okay. Therefore, Krama Krodha Yuktanam was free from that. Yatinam Yatnavan. What is Yatinam, especially with Yata Chetasam? One whose mind is fully under your control. What does it mean? The mind listens. In short, the mind listens to you, you don't listen to the mind. It's simple as that. It doesn't look that simple. Kya karu? Control nahi ho pata hai. Nobody can eat just one. We are victimized by our own minds. What greater tragedy can be there than that? No, you have mastered the mind. The mind listens to you. You say, hey, keep quiet. Now I'm listening to Vedanta. Don't bring any other thoughts. You say, okay, sir, I'll listen. You know, very beautifully expressed in the way our Bhagavan is conceived, especially Ganesha. You see that little mouse there? He has a laddu in his hand. A mouse and a laddu, you think the mouse is going to wait? No, but he's looking up to Ganesha. Of our mind. That mouse is symbolic of our minds. Okay? Yeah. Because our minds are like that. Generally, the comparison is with monkeys, but the mouse is equally a good comparison. Okay? Running around here and there, 100 different things to do. Poking your nose everywhere when not necessary also. Yata chetasam. Abhita Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. And such people, Viditatmana, one who has known himself, one who has known oneself, who has known the truth about yourself as nothing but pure consciousness, which is Brahman. Once you have known that, he says Brahman Nirvanam. Then Nirvanam Vartate. Here and hereafter, he says. Okay? What is here and hereafter? Living, you are free. Dying, you are free. Because you are not really dying anyway, the body falls. You are the pure consciousness. Living, you are living a Jivan Mukta Avastha. Living, you are living as a Jivan Mukta who is liberated while living. That's the meaning of Jivan Mukta. One who knows the truth and therefore you are enjoying the life with the knowledge of the reality, with the knowledge of what you are. We saw that in the second chapter. Apurya Manam Machala Pratishtam, etc. All the descriptions of a person who knows the truth. Jivan Mukta Avastha. And let us say that Jivan Mukta's Prarabdha is over. Okay? Jivan Mukta's Prarabdha is over. And it is time for the body to drop. Then what happens? Body drops. And what about you? You remain as pure consciousness. You can't be living free and dying and being bound again. You can't have that. Okay, you can't have that. Living free, you die free. Okay. That's why he says Abhita, from all sides, from all places, he is free. Whatever you do, you are living in freedom. Once you know the truth, it is not that, oh, once I know the truth, Okay, can all of you hear me?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I had to switch over to my phone because the Wi-Fi was giving too much of problems. All right. This being the case, he says, you cannot live in freedom and die bound. Okay. The idea is you are no more under the hold of ignorance, of ajnanam, therefore not under the hold of birth, rebirth, sense of finitude, etc. Living, you live free, enjoy the freedom while living, and when the body drops, you remain as limitless consciousness. Okay. Having said this much, okay, he goes ahead to introduce the topic of the next chapter right here. Okay. That is about meditation, etc. Let us see what he says here. Sparshan kritva bahir bhagyan chakshuscha antare bhruvo prana prano samo kritva nasya charinau yete indriya mano buddhihi munir moksha parayanaha vigata ichha bhaya krodha yas sada mukta eva saha. He is introducing the idea of meditation to own up the truth, to make the truth your own. Okay, what is he saying here? Okay, Munihi moksha parayana. That's the important thing. This Munihi Manana Shiravan, who's been exposed to Vedanta, moksha parayana, who takes moksha as his absolute goal in life. That person, moksha parayana, what is he supposed to do? Bahis parshan bahi krutva. He's sitting in for meditation. What happened about all the external stimuli? Keep it external. Don't internalize it. Keep it external. Okay. Next class onwards, we'll actually do the meditation. All right. We'll practice meditation. Last 15 minutes or so, we'll do the meditation. Therefore, sparshan bahir bahi krutva. Chakshusha antare bhruvo. Keeping the eyes within. Within the eyebrows. Meaning, closing your eyes. Various ways of interpreting it. Closing your eyes is the easiest interpretation. Prana pano samau krutva. Nasya abhanta charinau. The prana and apana that is moving within your breathing. Samau krutva, meaning keeping it balanced, keeping it quiet, keeping it simple. Not fast, agitated breathing. Relaxed, quiet breathing. Not doing a pranayama. Just relax. There are meditations where you do pranayamas. But here what he is talking about is the most simple, elegant meditation for owning of the truth. Other meditations are part of energy work, etc., meant for different things. Here it is only meant for this much. Okay. Therefore, Samikrutva Yatendriya Mano Buddhihi, mind and thinking controlled. Yataha. Why? You mastered them. They're not going to take you here and there. Otherwise, you'll be like this. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. Where is Shivarama Krishnan? I didn't see him in the class today. Kidhar gaya ho? I hope he has not got COVID, you know, with this COVID going on. I know the government should do more here. Yeah. I heard vaccines, etc., but how do we know which vaccines are good enough? Some of them are tampering with your RNAs. They are dangerous. What are you doing? Meditating on Brahman, okay? You're gone meditating on COVID. Okay. Therefore, he says, Yatam, mastered. Vigata Ichha Bhaya Krodha. If you're free from these, you will have mastered your mind. What is that? Vigata Ichha. Desire for things, keep it away. You may still have, you're living a life of Karma Yoga. Therefore, you may still have desires. For the time being, keep it away. Tomorrow is another day. We'll look at it tomorrow. Or we'll look at it after the meditation. Keep it away. Bhayam. Keep your fears also away. Keep your fears also away. Fear is coming from a sense of loss. At least for the next 15-20 minutes, you will keep it away. Anger is the same. You are angry at so many people. Unresolved anger. Make a sankalpa. You will resolve it later. Now, let it not disturb you. But Swamiji, what to do is disturbing me. Then don't meditate. First resolve that anger. Resolve that desire. Resolve that fear. Tackle it. Spiritual well-being, spiritual growth is built up on psychological growth. So if you're psychologically disturbed with all these things, bhayam, krodha, etc., you have to learn to tackle it. With whatever help you require. Therapy, medication, I don't care what, tackle it, handle it. Until finally, in the last stages, you are ready to handle it cognitively. And you're free from it. Okay? Vigatecha bhaya krodha. Sa sada mukta eva saha. Such a person, if he keeps contemplating on the truth, there is already gained insights in Shravanam, he will be free. He will be free. Swamiji, the truth is not very clear for me. The truth is not very clear. What can I really contemplate upon to get to the truth? Simple, I'll tell you. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shanti rucchati. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam, the one who receives all worship. Because who is being invoked in all the worship? Yajnaha, tapas, etc. Who is invoked? Sarvaloka maheshwaram, the Lord of the whole universe. Multiverse. The Lord of the whole multiverse is being invoked by it. Okay. Suhridam sarva bhutanam, the well-wisher of all living beings. God is not partial, okay? God is not partial. God doesn't have to test you. You're a Hindu, you're a sinner. Go. The Lord is not vengeful. Yeah. Lord is not partial. Karma, karma phala, everyone gets accordingly. Okay. Well-wisher to everyone. If he is well-wisher, why couldn't he remove my karma, karma phala? That's part of the price you have to pay for your growth, for your learning. Therefore, karma, karma phalam. Karma phalam comes to you. Simple as that. Suhridam sarva bhutanam. Nyatva, knowing, contemplating upon. Mam shantim rucchati. Okay. He gains the peace, which is my own surupa. My own surupa. The fulfillment, etc. So meditation is a means for owning up the truth. See, one thing I want to make clear here. The truth is known on Shravanam, on listening to. I'll never get tired of saying this. Okay. If you want you don't have knowledge of the truth because there is ignorance of the truth. In your mind, therefore, you have taken yourself to be everything other than what you are. A lot of self-judgments are coming into the picture. Therefore, what you need to know is to know the truth. For any knowledge, worldly or spiritual, you need a means of knowledge, a pramana, a means of knowledge. The means of knowledge here happens to be Vedanta, Gita, etc. Therefore, the pramana is operated by the teacher when you are listening to it. So knowledge takes place in Shravana. But the knowledge that has taken place in Shravanam may not be owned up. Now, what do I mean by owning up? Swami Chinmayanji used to say something. He says the knowledge that has gone in through the ears have to sink into the heart. Otherwise, it leaks through the mouth. that sinking into the heart until you have made it your own. Until you have made it your own. That is the function of meditation. The meditation is talking about. Broadly categorized, there are two types of meditation. One is called preparatory meditation. Simple japa, dhyanam, etc. We will start with those things. And in the 6th chapter also, those are highlighted. To prepare to master your mind, to quieten your mind, so that you have a contemplative mind, and with that contemplative mind, you can know the truth. That is preparation for meditation. If you have done a lot of preparatory meditation, and believe me, there are hundreds of types of preparatory meditation, okay? It's not limited to one type. I may teach one method here because that's one of the simplest and the most direct methods, but there are hundreds of methods. I tried out a lot of them. All of them works of preparation. As preparation, all of them works. Including if you're doing some Reiki and things like that, that's also a form of meditation. That also will work. Or meditation that you do in martial arts, etc. That also will work. That's what worked for me, preparation. Therefore, those are all preparatory meditation. There can be hundreds of them. So that you can pick and choose anything, what you're happy with. The other meditation is, after having exposed to Vedanta a little bit, you own it up. That means what? First, you quieten the mind using the preparatory meditation. And then, in that quiet mind, you introduce the essence of the teaching. You will take a word, consciousness, awareness, Brahman, Shuddham, all these words that define Brahman, Nitya Muktaha, any word like this, you will pick up and recall the essence of the teaching relating to that word. And see yourself as that. I am free from everything. See yourself as that. I am that pure consciousness. To see yourself again. You saw it when it was unfolded in the class. You see it again at the seat of meditation. You immerse yourself in that, so that it permeates your whole mind. It permeates your own psyche. It permeates your whole being. My teacher used to give a very good example. It's like making Rasagulla. I'm sure all of you enjoy Rasagullas. So what do? First you make the gulla, the paneer balls. And then what? You dip it in the rasa, the sugar syrup. How long? You don't dip it and take it. It is not like eating your tacos. You dip and take. No, you immerse it. You immerse the gulla in the rasa long enough so that the rasa will permeate the gulla and it becomes rasagulla. So that when you are diet conscious, you're conscious you don't want to eat too much of sugar. You take the rasagulla and squeeze it, and then you eat it. It is still sweet. Similarly, this knowledge will permeate your being, your psyche, as a result of the meditation, so that when life squeezes you, okay, when life squeezes you, the knowledge still remains with you. In all the challenges and the vicissitudes of life, the knowledge is with you. Nothing can shake you. You enjoy a dynamic balance in life. You live with this knowledge. This is owning up meditation. So we do both. We'll do both, but not today. Next class onwards, okay? With this, the 5th chapter has come to an end. Therefore, he says, Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra, which consists of both Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra. Brahma Vidya is knowledge of the truth. Yoga Shastra is how to handle your mind. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, in the form of a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Sannyasa Yogo Nama. the chapter called Sannyasa Yoga. Okay, yoga means topic here. The topic of sannyasa, Panchamodhyaya Samaptaha. The 5th chapter has come to an end. Om Tat Sat. Okay, so good place to stop. So next class we will go into this thing. Sorry that Wi-Fi gave too much of a trouble. I think next class the evening time is a bit dicey. Next class I'll start directly on the phone itself. Laptop depends on Wi-Fi. The phone connection is much better. Okay, so good place to stop. Om Tat Sat. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves.
Hariam Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
Pranam Swamiji.
Take care.
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes.
Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam ji. Have fun.
Pranam Swamiji, thank you so much.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you all. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Enjoy yourselves. Have fun.